So when you talk about making your dash dance, point one, you got to be willing to do it afraid. See, you might be waiting for the fear to stop. So many times we're waiting. I'm waiting to get something right. I see your hands going up. You guys know if it's your truth, you can raise your hand just like we did on day 0. You're just kind of waiting. You're waiting to get everything in order. You're waiting so that everything is in you, it's together. You're waiting to not be afraid. You're waiting to have the courage. You're waiting to have all the money. You're waiting to lose weight. I'm afraid, what do? Do it anyway. I'm afraid I don't quite know if I should move. Move anyway. I don't know if I should leap. Leap afraid. And then gather your courage on the way down. And if you don't get it before you hit, you was gonna hit anyway. I'd rather die leaping than on the edge figuring out how to get the courage to leap. How does that look? Because your 80% of right is somebody else's 159% of what they needed. When you want to do it right and you want to wait till you're not afraid and you want to wait till you have it all together, oh, you made it about you again. See, Nelson Mandela did it. He just did it not knowing if it were right. Mahatma Gandhi just did it not knowing if it were right. Mother Teresa just did it not looking for affirmation or confirmation. Is this right? Martin Luther King did it not even knowing if it would happen before his life ended. I mean, what are you waiting on? Are you willing to do it afraid? Are you willing to do it knowing that you got so much work to do to get it better, to get it more perfect, but are you willing to do it inside your imperfection? Do you realize that in your imperfection, you're perfect for the job?
I would be disgusted with the woman that I saw in the mirror. As a young model, my confidence was tugged at and pulled in all different directions. I struggled to achieve true confidence. I was already labeled the fat model, the girl who was pretty for a big girl. Only 2% of women find themselves beautiful. 2%. I felt freed once I realized I was never going to fit a narrow mold that society wanted me to fit into. It's true. I honestly love my cellulite, my rolls, the inner part of my thighs that jiggle and touch. It's gorgeous. We need to start looking beyond the exterior of a woman. And we need to start looking at her for what she's doing, who she is. Because I, like so many young women, struggled to love the woman I saw inside of the mirror because of society's narrow vision of beauty. It's true, I wasn't able to love and embrace my hips and my weird shaped butt and the cellulite on my thighs, and I wasn't. Not until I loved the woman within. And once that happened, my career, my success, my drive, it all began to follow. I became my own role model. No one else was to have that job. My body, like my confidence, has been picked apart, manipulated, and controlled by others who didn't necessarily understand it. And once I reclaimed ownership over my body, I understood that there was a greater purpose as a woman. Never let anybody tell you you can't. I have achieved and I am still achieving what was seemingly impossible. Be real. Be authentic. Be your favorite kind of woman. Don't let anybody else take that job. And remember, you are bold, you are brilliant, and you are beautiful. There is no other woman like you because you are your own kind of woman. If anything, remember this: be you.
I remember that really kind of breaking my heart, because it's hard to hear that you need to lose weight when you don't think that you're fat, like when you are perfectly fine with your body. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that there are lots of filmmakers that have this idea of this unobtainable, perfect body image, and they put those unobtainable pressures on people. And people are watching us, actors, and looking at our bodies and comparing themselves to Photoshop pictures. And I feel like the media refuses to take responsibility for the effect that we have on society and a younger generation when we talk about each other in the way that we do, and we judge people in all the wrong ways. It seems like all of the values are in all of the wrong things, and I'm so tired of hearing women call other women fat. I think we have to think about the way that we talk about each other, and I think that we need to change the way that we see beauty, and I'm sick of diets.
I get just choked up just thinking about how terrifying it was. And so I found myself at the age of 41, like just feeling like a complete failure. And I would lie there and I would think about the lien on the house, and I would think about the bankruptcy that we were facing. And I would think about how much we had fought the night before. And I would think about the fact that I was unemployed. And I would hit the snooze button. I mean, why would you get up when your life is like that? Why would you? In the scheme of life, hitting the snooze button is not that big of a deal. But here's the thing about life. None of us wake up and say, today is the day I destroy my life. What we do is we kind of check out because it feels overwhelming. Or we check out because we're afraid. Or we check out because we start listening to self-doubt. And then we make these teeny tiny decisions all day long. We don't even realize it. Decision to not get up on time, a decision to not eat the right thing, a decision to snap at your kids, a decision to not speak in a meeting, a decision to not look for a job, a decision to not deal with your finances, a decision to not call your parents, like whatever it is. All day long, these tiny decisions that take you so far off track. And then you wake up like I did, and you look at your life and you think, how the hell did I get here? And I was about to turn off the TV, and there on the TV, there was this rocket launching, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is it. I am gonna launch myself out of bed like a rocket ship, like NASA, right here, had launched me out of that bed. And I'm gonna move so fast that I don't think. I'm gonna beat my brain. The next morning, the alarm goes off, and I pretended NASA was there. It's the stupidest story. I literally went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I counted out loud, and then I stood up. And I'll never forget standing there in my bedroom. It was dark, it was cold, it was winter in Boston. And for the first time in 3 months, I had beaten my habit of hitting the snooze button. I couldn't believe it, and I thought, wait a minute. Counting backwards? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, the next morning I used it again, and it worked. The next morning I used it again, and it worked. The next morning I used it again, and it worked. And then I started to notice something really interesting. You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. Because remember, your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on it in the smallest moment. Because I went from getting up on time and waking up on time to shaking up my entire life. Because when you understand the power of a 5-second decision, and you understand that you always have a choice to go from autopilot to decision maker, everything in your life will change. You will be a different negotiator, you will be different in sales, you will be unstoppable in the gym, because you will realize the amount of garbage that you put in the way of your hopes, of your dreams, of your potential, of your confidence, of your courage. Everything comes down to the decisions that you make. We all know what to do. None of us know how to make ourselves do it. So the single most profound use of the 5-second rule is mind control. You can actually use one stupid little trick to push yourself to grab it. I wanted to change my life. And I think most people that are miserable or that are really like dying to be great and dying to have more, we want to change. We want to live a better life. We want to create more for our families. We want to be happier. The desire is there. It's your job to push yourself. There are tricks that you can use that actually outsmart the tricks your brain plays on you. You can outsmart your own brain.
In a child's nature, we see many of our own innate tendencies. Prizes serve as false idols everywhere. Prestige, wealth, fame, power. You will be exposed to many of these, if not all. Of course, part of why I was invited to come speak today, beyond my being a proud alum, is that I've accrued some very coveted toys in my life, including a not-so-plastic, not-so-crappy one, an Oscar. So we bump up against a common trope, I think, of the commencement address, people who have achieved a lot telling you that the fruits of achievement are not always to be trusted. But I think that contradiction can be reconciled and is in fact instructive. Achievement is wonderful when you know why you're doing it, and when you don't know, it can be a terrible trap. To be or not to be is not the question. The vital question is how to be and how not to be. Sometimes your insecurities and your inexperience may lead you to embrace other people's expectations, standards, or values. But you can harness that inexperience to carve out your own path, one that is free of the burden of knowing how things are supposed to be, a path that is defined by its own particular set of reasons. You are here for a reason. If I had known my own limitations, I never would have taken the risk. I had no idea how to declare my intentions. I couldn't even articulate them to myself. I'd been acting since I was 11, but I thought acting was too frivolous and certainly not meaningful. At the age of 18, I had already been acting for 7 years and assumed I'd find a more serious and profound path in college. Overwhelmed with what I was supposed to pull off when I could barely get myself out of bed in the morning. It's not about quantity, it's about taking pleasure in the perfection and beauty of the particular. I'm still learning now that it's about good and maybe never done. That the joy and work ethic and virtuosity we bring to the particular can impart a singular type of enjoyment to those we give to, and of course to ourselves. Someone will always have a higher jump or a more beautiful line. The only thing you can be the best at is developing your own self. I was able to own my meaning and not have it be determined by box office receipts or prestige. I was so oblivious to my own limits that I did things I was woefully unprepared to do. And so the very inexperience that in college had made me feel insecure and made me want to play by others' rules now was making me actually take risks I didn't even realize were risks. Your inexperience can either lead you down a path where you will conform to someone else's values, or you can forge your own path, even if you don't realize that's what you're doing. Your inexperience is an asset and will allow you to think in original, unconventional ways. Accept your lack of knowledge and use it as your asset.
I'm proud of you. You know it's not easy going after your dreams, even having the courage to risk it all in pursuit of your dreams. Just having the courage to risk it all while chasing your dream, let alone fighting through all setbacks, obstacles, and naysayers on the way to your dream. It's not easy. That's why most settle. But you're not like the rest. That's why you're listening to this. And I just wanted to say I'm proud. I wanted to say that because I know most of you may have never have heard that. I wanted to say that not because you need a pat on the back. You're strong enough to succeed without any of that. Just to let you know you are unique. You are a rare breed. A strong individual. Keep doing your thing and don't let anything or anyone stop you from reaching that goal you have.
You will win if you don't quit. You got to have stamina. You've got to have staying power. You've got to make know your vitamin.
Logical, practical thinking says you can't do it today. But if you want to produce unreasonable results in your life, like living your dream and taking charge of your destiny, you've got to be an unreasonable person. You've got to be an uncommon person. It's you. You've got to take personal responsibility. You've got to make it your personal business to make it happen. And you've got to resolve within yourself that I can do this, that it's hard. But you've got to say, I'm the one. I'm the one to make this happen. I'm the one to become successful in this business. But you know it's going to be hard, but find out what will make it worth it for you.
Not being able to experience friendship, to talk about problems, or feeling safe in someone's arms can paralyze your whole existence. But feeling alone starts deep within yourself. You may have been hurt or betrayed, but reliving past memories will let them reoccur in the future. You have to open your eyes and become better than you're thinking. You have to realize that you will never be truly alone in this vast world. Feeling alone most of the time just replaces the fear of getting hurt. But fear is not evil. It shows you where your weakness is so you can act accordingly. So act. If you're feeling lonely, remember that you always had someone. It may not have been the person you wished for, but someone was always there for you. Otherwise you couldn't read, eat, walk or talk. A child cannot learn these things without any human being around it. So raise up of your self-pityness and just risk something again. Look forward to the memories you will create and the new friendships entering your life as soon as you raise your thinking. Having fun, feeling love and sharing memories, creating bonds and experience trust requires you to be open for it and let it happen. Start to smile on strangers, invest time in someone else and start creating new friendships. Be honest and gentle and set trust in other people. Start living a life full of joy and positive energy and it will shift completely. Give your best version to others and they will give it back to you. Because you can only receive what you are giving.
There are no mistakes. There really aren't any, because you have a supreme destiny. When you're in your little mind, in your little personality mind, where you're not centered, where you really don't know who you are, that you come from something greater and bigger, and that we really all are the same. When you don't know that, you get all flustered. You get stressed all the time, wanting something to be what it isn't. There is a supreme moment of destiny calling on your life. Your job is to feel that, to hear that, to know that. And sometimes when you're not listening, you get taken off track. You get in the wrong marriage, the wrong relationship, you take the wrong job. Yeah, but it's all leading to the same path. There are no wrong paths. There are none. There's no such thing as failure, really, because failure is just that thing trying to move you in another direction. So you get as much from your losses as you do from your victories, because the losses are there to wake you up. When you understand that, you don't allow yourself to be completely thrown by a grade or by a circumstance, because your life is bigger than any one experience. What would you say to your younger self? Every person says in one form or another, I would have said, relax. Relax. It's going to be okay. It really is going to be okay. Because even if you're on a detour right now, and that's how you know when you're not at ease with yourself. That is the cue that you need to be moving in another direction. Don't let yourself get all thrown off, continue to be thrown off course. When you're feeling off course, that's the key. How do I turn around? So when everybody was talking about, when I started this network, if I had only known, good Lord, how difficult it would be. The way through the challenge is to get still and ask yourself, what is the next right move? Not think about, oh, I got all of this to do. What is the next right move? And then from that space, make the next right move and the next right move. And not to be overwhelmed by it, because you know your life is bigger than that one moment. You know you're not defined by what somebody says is a failure for you.
Is he ever dressed like this?
No. Jacket and tie.
First in your class, in school, high school?
Yes, sir.
How many in the class?
12. It was a small town.
I'll say.
But I was also first in my radar class in the Navy, and that was a class of 20. Can I say something? I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer. Is that fair enough?
Some of you already know that it's hard. It's not easy. For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dream. You are the one. No one can do it for you but you. And even though you will experience some setbacks, it goes with the territory. Their rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass. What if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up? What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, it's not over until I win. Life will yield to you.
Greatness is not born. It's made.
Where have you been? Why are you here? And where are you going? You look at your life, you look at what you produce. Is it giving you what you want? Are you living on purpose? Are you living your dream? Are you acting on your ideas? Are you doing all you can do? Have you gotten comfortable? Are you procrastinating? Are you evading your own greatness? Are you surrounding yourself with people that can nourish you? Are you challenging yourself? Are you experimenting? Are you learning something different? Is your life an adventure, or is it boring? Where have you been? Why are you here? What brought you here? And where are you going? What is it that you can get out of this lecture? That when you leave here, that you've got some idea, some dream, that you might have to go back and brush it off and look at it again and say, I've got to do this. This is my stuff. This is what I'm supposed to do.